Ladies and gentlemen, we were all wondering if it was going to happen, and if it did, when it was going to happen. Monday Night Raw last week broke an all-time worst in a ratings record. They beat their record for the worst ratings all year in a single calendar year 4 times in 2018. The one thing that I was looking forward to most on Monday Night Raw was, will the ratings sink lower? I'm happy to announce I am proud to unveil the Guinness World Record 5th round of Guinness Award for the lowest TV ratings 5 times in a single year. Monday Night Raw. Awards are pre-Christmas and New Year's episodes, by the way, which I'm expecting even worse. And don't tell me, oh, JD, it's because of the holidays. It's a show. It's happening on Monday. They count. This award was brought to you by Clorox, Waste Management, and good old Chipotle for their chorizo with extra cheese. Oh my goodness, man. I love it. I love it. It's so awesome. No, JD, well, why do you want the ratings to fail, man? Doesn't your content hinder on WWE? Yes, because I'm sitting here talking about a business that's worth $8 billion. Do you think they're really going to go out of business? You fucking idiot. The reason the ratings are the way they are is because the shows reflect that. They are garbage. The reason why I want the ratings to sink lower and lower is because they're moving to this, you might have heard of them, Fox Sports in 2019, October to be exact, where ratings will be an issue. So if the ratings don't matter now, you think that's going to remain the same way on Fox? Channel 5 for my New York brothers and sisters? No way. No way. Now, the one thing that we all kind of collectively felt on Monday was, this is the same shit. This is the same shit. But there was a small vocal minority on Monday that seemed to love the opening segment of Monday Night Raw. You know, the one that I critically just completely bashed on my review. And for right reason. You see, everybody loved, for whatever, it makes me wonder how small your brains are. It really makes me wonder. What was there to love? What was there to love about Monday Night Raw and the opening segment between Seth Rollins, and Baron Corbin? I'd love for someone to explain it to me. What did it do? Let's dig deep down. What did it do? Well, JD, it presented Baron Corbin in a heel-like manner. Okay. Do you know that the majority of the people watching this show are sick and tired of Baron Corbin? This is a tired and true formula that WWE resorts to on Monday nights. Oh, let's get the heel GM against the babyface. Pick of the litter on Monday night. 1 week it's fucking Braun Strowman. 1 week it's Elias. 1 week it's Finn Balor. This week it was Seth Rollins. How many other fucking babyfaces are on this show that they're gonna run through? 0. How many of those babyfaces are actually legitimately guys you want to see on television? 1. Rollins. And even him, right now, is being wasted away. His stock has dramatically fallen from where it was on Monday night. In the summer with the IC title. So what did this segment really do? Let's dig deep. What did it really do? Well, it set up a great main event. Okay, it set up a great main event. You had a good opening segment, and then you had a good main event. Some people were saying it was a great main event. I don't know what the fuck you call a great main event on Monday Night Raw. There really hasn't been any great main events on Monday Night Raw. In recent memory, not that I remember any of them, and if there was, I forgot. Because the abundance of bad shows just really sucks all the good out of you. So we got a good opening segment to you, and then a decent main event to most. Okay. This is where I was stumped. It's like I'm sitting in fucking class. Hey, teach, I don't understand what the fuck's going on over here. Can you please explain it to me again in English this time? What was going on in the middle of this entire program? 3 hours worth. Got a good opening and a good ending. What the fuck was in the middle of this show that you all deemed worthy of being, well, it was a step in the right direction, I was told. Step in the right direction? Yeah, the ratings really reflect a step in the right fucking direction. Step in the right direction. We got a great main event. Blah, 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 blah. The opening to Monday Night Raw was riddled with mockery. The opening of Monday Night Raw was riddled with the same old shit. Step in the right direction, you fucking clown. Where? Baron Corbin's still on my television. GMs don't need to be present every single week in 6 different fucking segments. Step in the right direction, failed. Failed! What did they do? Did they build a story-long, drawn-out issue over the show? No! You got it in the beginning, you got 2 hours and 45 minutes of complete fucking garbage, and then you got a semi-decent, half-assed TLC match. And don't think that that match wasn't put on in the main event because of desperation. I don't know where the fuck I'm wrong, and people come off at me this week, oh, look at this guy, he doesn't like anything. This was a good Raw, this was a step in the right direction. I already refuted your step in the right direction bullshit. It was a good Raw. What are you comparing it to? What are you comparing it to? I don't understand you. They won the award for 4 fucking weeks in a row. 4 times, no, never mind 4 weeks in a row. It's 3 weeks in a row now. I'm gonna sit here and wait until all the fucking ratings come in for the rest of the year. How long we can consistently be worse. 4 times this year. They broke the worst rating for this show in the history of 25 years of Raw. So I don't get your point. Good Raw, what are you comparing it to? That would be like me comparing Bailey's shit to Bacardi's shit. It's still shit at the end of the fucking night. Fucking simpletons is what you are. Everybody that refutes, everybody that makes some fucking comment about me, makes a video about me, wants to indirectly fucking use the same exact wording in my title, and then don't have the balls to mention why or who. Half of this community is riddled with fucking idiots. You don't see what I see. You want so desperately for this show to be good, and you cling on to whatever is positive on this show, which is barely anything. Hey, I want Monday Night Raw to be good too. In a perfect world, my Monday Night Raw would be 2 hours and booked like NXT. But we can't be that fortunate. We can't be that lucky. Because Vince McMahon still is wielding the magic pen, writing this show. Oh, JD, Seth Rollins brought to everybody's attention. He addressed all the issues on Raw. Okay. That's great. Anybody could go out there and say what the issues are, and the issues that Rollins brought to the table are known to everybody. It lacked creative writing. It lacked imagination. It lacked direction. And all that rolled into big balls of bullshit. It did nothing, and it will do nothing for Monday Night Raw and the future of this show until legit changes are made. JD was a step in the right direction. Let me give you 2 fucking examples of Monday Night Raw doing something right and then going right back to what they usually do best. Garbage. What happened to that Monday Night Raw following the original brand split draft? Remember that Monday Night Raw where Finn Balor won the number 1 contendership for the Universal Championship by beating Roman Reigns? Remember that show? That was a damn good Monday Night Raw, and I even said so. But what I also said in that same fucking video is don't fucking count your chickens before they hatch. Don't sit on cloud 9 expecting to be there. This is Monday Night Raw. Remember what you are watching. From that show, it's going to decline. You think Raw's going to keep up this pace? You think they're going to deliver a show that was just as good as this one the following week, and the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that? No, 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 no. They didn't. What happened? I ended up being right again. Another example. Remember the fucking Monday Night Raw, which was probably the best Monday Night Raw of the year, where Rollins did the gauntlet, where he beat Roman Reigns and John Cena in the same night, where he went over 1 hour. Remember that? That was a damn good Monday Night Raw. Do you want to know why that was a good Monday Night Raw? Actually, let me rephrase that. Do you want to know why that was a great Monday Night Raw? Because for an hour and a half, they actually went outside the box and did something that they really, really, really never do. You want to know what they never do? They never focus on the actual in-ring talent. It's always about a GM or a GM's assistant or some fucking bullshit segment, cringe segment, with fucking plants in the crowd, Sasha and Bailey, blah, 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 blah. This is my life, Alexa Bliss, blah, 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 Baron Corbin, blah, blah, blah. B-Team barbecues, blah, 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 blah. Pissing on robes, toilet humor. They finally sat down, came up with a concept that really hasn't been done on Monday Night Raw in that context, and they focused on the in-ring talent. And before that, they built a story throughout the entire show. We didn't understand why Seth Rollins was going into a gauntlet match, or why these guys were going into a gauntlet match 6 days before the Elimination Chamber. But who the fuck cares? Rollins came out of that looking like a fucking superstar. More so than he already is. And that was the start of his rise on Monday Night Raw until WWE eventually took Rollins and the IC title and made them feel like shadows behind the failure known as Roman Reigns. And made Seth Rollins into a fucking puppet, all because they needed something to alleviate the bullshit and the fans because of Roman Reigns. What happened after those shows? Those are good Raws. When WWE does something right, I will say when they do something right. But I will call WWE out on their bullshit every single fucking time. This Raw was not as bad. I even said the first things out of my mouth on Monday night were they did a show that wasn't as bad as what we got the last 2 weeks, the last 3 weeks. Granted, that doesn't mean it was a good show. That doesn't mean that everybody has to come on here and fucking finger poke me and fucking throw the middle finger at me and fucking make videos about me and mention me indirectly in their reviews. Some of these people directly, but I don't really give a shit because they're fucking failures. Monday Night Raw accomplished nothing. Nothing. All they did was mock the fans. They mocked the fans. Baron Corbin played the role of Vince McMahon. Seth Rollins played the role of us. The script was uncreative. You could go on my social media, you could go on my Twitter, and take the entire script word for word. Just look at all the complaints that gather likes on Monday nights. Use that, put that in the script, and boom, you got a fucking script. They probably searched around on Twitter to find the most vile and the most upset fucking Twitter accounts during Monday night, and they used that in their promo. Very easy to do. It's not difficult at all. I could do it. I could have wrote that promo in 10 minutes. So, Right out of the gate, lack of creativity. Then they got Rollins addressing the revival. They got Rollins addressing the toilet humor and the piss jokes. They got Rollins saying that morale in the back is down. Fan morale is down. This show is a fucking failure. Ratings are at an all-time low. Wow, I wonder where I heard all that before. So we're here on Monday night listening to Rollins say this, and I'm like, okay, there's one thing to mention it and do something about it, and the other thing is just mentioning it without doing anything. And then Baron Corbin comes out, and obviously, playing the role of Vince McMahon, he goes on to say, I don't give a shit about what you think, I don't give a shit about what anybody in the back thinks, I don't give a shit about what anybody in the audience paying money to sit here thinks. I'm going to do what I want, when I want. I am the boss. So, right there, WWE mocked the fans because they addressed what was wrong with the show, and they did nothing to fix it over the course of 3 hours. But JD, we got a good main event, man. Yeah, but the rest of the show, you sat through 2 hours and 45 minutes of unadulterated garbage to get to a decent main event. If you consider that a step in the right direction, my God, please stop watching and please change your name to mediocrity. Change your name to complacent. Change your name and don't watch this fucking program. You don't know what the fuck is going on. You don't know what you want. And you don't know anything about the current state of WWE. Bullshit. I can't stand the fact that people come on here and people say that I'm narcissistic and people say that I'm righteous and entitled. You better fucking believe it. Because if you don't think you have any of those qualities, you are a goddamn fucking fool. Everybody is downright narcissistic at times. Everybody feels entitled at times. I have every fucking right to voice my opinion on what we see on Monday nights, and that's exactly what that statement, that promo by both Corbin and Rollins did. It mocked everybody. Everybody. If you're going to address those issues that are very important to everybody, then you better fucking have a solution to every single one of them about how to make this show better. They did not do that. A step in the right direction? I can't wait until next week, until we're here on Off the Script episode 253, announcing that it's the 6th time in a calendar year in which Monday Night Raw broke their own record. Step in the right direction? The fans seem to think otherwise. This was not a good show. It did nothing but mock the fans. It made you feel like a fucking idiot because they gave you hope. How many of you clinged on to that hope? Well, Rollins is bringing it to our attention. They might be able to do something about it, or they will do something about it. Really? This is the same show in which Baron Corbin, acting like Vince McMahon, told you plain as day, right to your face, I don't give a flying fuck what you feel or what you think. Really now. So, at the end of the day, when I'm looking at everybody claim that this was a good Raw, you were all taken for fools. You were all taken for fools. You know, when someone says something like that, the next course of action is to plan and fix. Is WWE right now, on Friday afternoon, planning and fixing to fix what is wrong with this show for the next Monday? I don't know. It's the aftermath of TLC. I don't know what they have in store. We could see a Lars Sullivan debut. We could see something fresh and new going on into the Royal Rumble, but I doubt it. They got 2 weeks of television for Christmas and New Year's coming up that they have to tape for. Double sets of tapings. I doubt anything is going to happen on those shows worth anything. So when someone wants to come on here and pinpoint why I'm so negative and why I take this to heart and why, it's because I take great pleasure in making all my detractors, everybody with a fucking pea brain, feel that much more inferior. This show was fucking terrible. They gave you a main event on Monday Night Raw out of sheer desperation. Do you want to know why everybody was claiming, oh, well, this was a good main event? What are you talking about? This was a good Raw because of the main event. 2.5 hours worth of garbage before that main event. Do you want to know why you got that main event? It's because Monday Night Raw is suffering the worst ratings in the history of the show. They're hoping that somebody that is lost, not watching this show anymore, somehow miraculously finds USA Network and sees, oh, look at Baron Corbin. Oh, look at Seth Rollins. There's ladders, there's tables, there's chairs. I like this type of stuff. It's on Monday night. It's for free. Let me sit down and watch it till 11 o'clock. Sheer desperation. You're giving a TLC match to Baron Corbin, who's already going to be in one right now with Braun Strowman on Sunday night, and you're giving away a TLC match for free on television? Why does one go to those lengths? Because they are desperate. They are desperately trying to grab whatever ratings could come their way, simply as a band-aid for the bullshit that they've given you for the last 4 weeks to try and desperately stop the bleeding. And if you don't agree with that, if you don't see that, then there is no hope for you. Why are you even here? I don't give a shit what you thought about Rollins and the fact that he brought up all the issues on Raw. I don't give a shit if it was a good segment. I don't give a shit if you thought it was a decent main event. What the fuck did you get in the middle of that show that you thought it made a good Raw? Yeah, my tag team champions who were undefeated for over a year in NXT, embarrassed and buried under toilet humor, losing to a team that isn't even really a fucking team, managed by a guy who is fucking 1/4 of their size and a complete joke. Elias versus Lio Rush? Yeah, it's new, but it's still Bobby Lashley involved. Who the fuck cares? Jinder Mahal, and Alicia Fox, and all that bullshit versus Bayley. Okay. Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey? Save me. Every time Nia speaks, our ears collectively bleed. This show is fucking garbage. I understand that their roster is depleted. I've been saying this for weeks. But I am not going to give them any mercy whatsoever, because they still have a bunch of talented men and women on that show that they are not utilizing. You have 30 creative writers that mean nothing because Vince McMahon refuses to let go of the pen. Until that happens, there is no change. Vince knows. There's no way that this company doesn't know what is wrong with this show. They are merely throwing it back in your face because they don't want to change. So how are we going to change them? By the ratings sinking lower and lower every single fucking week. That is my change. The change to me will come when the ratings are Impact levels. And when that day comes, I'll still be laughing. Company's still going to be worth $7 billion. Doesn't fucking matter to me. I'm still going to get a Raw review out. I'm still going to cover SmackDown Live and NXT. I'm still going to do this podcast every single week. Why? It's because I love it. It's what I do. It's my passion. I want to be in the business. But I will not sit here and be taken for a fucking fool. I will not sit here and follow the sheep in this fucking community, all because you said. It's the same thing that I said. What happened 2 weeks ago when that Raw was critically destroyed by everybody? Everybody was on the same boat. They followed the leader. If one person strayed away from that, they would have been fucking thrown under the bus, eaten by the wolves. That's what would have happened. And it's the same thing this week. I say it was a terrible show. I give my reasons for why it was a terrible show. The majority of the fucking social media trash thought it was a good show. So I'm the only outward one, or the outspoken one here talking about it. So I get shit on. Follow the leader. You think it's a good show, so you follow everybody else that says it's a good show. It's a bad show, you follow the leader because everybody said it was a bad show. I don't follow no one. I don't follow no one. I am the leader, motherfucker. You follow me. I don't give a fuck what anybody else is doing on any other platform, any other podcast, any other YouTube channel. I don't give a shit. You follow me. I have the eyes for this shit like a fucking hawk. Raw was garbage. It mocked you. It brought everybody's attention to what was wrong, which we already knew. And if change isn't made, you look like a fucking goddamn idiot at the end of the day. And I'm sitting here laughing because I know change is not coming. And when change legitimately does come, you'll be the first to know. Because I'll address it immediately. Raw was trash. It will continue to be trash. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to spit the fucking facts every single goddamn week. You don't like it? Don't watch. This is Off the Script. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Off this shitty fucking product by coming on here and speaking the fucking goddamn truth about this fucking filth.
That I can book a better show taking a fucking dump after eating my fucking Chipotle chorizo with extra cheese.
I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Have I ever? Of course not.
WWE is great, man. Fuck you, Japan, and Kenny Omega, Okada. Delete! Ooh, what is it, man? Can I suck your dick? Ooh, what is it, man?
Well, this is the #1 fucking podcast.
Right here on YouTube.com!
This is Off the Script. For anybody wondering what the ratings for Monday Night Raw were, they drew a 2.194. That was million viewers watching the show. The number is down from 2.285 million viewers and set the new all-time lowest viewership for the show's history. The first hour drew 2.347. The second hour drew 2.186. And then the third hour, with such a great main event, drew 2.048 million viewers. Trash. Thank you guys so much for joining me on episode 252, part #1. This is Off the Script, the best fucking wrestling podcast in your subscription boxes right here on YouTube.com. Man, I haven't said that in a while. But I want to thank you guys for joining me here on the podcast, man. We got a lot to go over today. We're going to save the TLC preview and predictions for Saturday because this, as always, with everything that they do, is a lackluster show for WWE. But today, I want to concentrate on WrestleMania. Now, WrestleMania is 4 months away. Before you blink, it'll be the spring. I can't wait. And WrestleMania will be here. Apparently, there are major matches revealed for WrestleMania in April in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. We're going to go over all that right here on the podcast. Also, a health update on Big Cass following his seizure last Saturday at the House of Hardcore show. And there is a current WWE superstar on SmackDown Live right now who once again is unhappy with his current position in the company. I wonder who that could be, El Idolo. Also news on Kevin Owens and when he is due back for WWE. Man, I want to thank everybody that went out and purchased the JD Club design, man. We sold 75. The campaign closed at 75. And Bonfire was so happy that they relaunched the campaign, and you guys have now another full week to take advantage of this shirt and this design and this campaign. I want to thank everybody that ordered the shirt, man. You guys are definitely going to get it before Christmas. Bonfire has guaranteed me everybody will get it before the holidays. Everybody that wants to take part in this campaign now over the next 7 days obviously is not going to get it before Christmas. You guys will get it after the holidays. But you got 5 colors to choose from, man. You got black, you got gunmetal, you got blue, you got pink, and you got red. You got 5 colors. So you could get one for yourself, and you could get one for your lady. It's a great design. It's a take on the Team JD design that we did last year, and we just altered it to the JD Club. Now, if you guys missed out on those 2 other campaigns, The Team JD one, the regular one that you see here in the white and black, and the gold foil. You guys can now be a part of this exclusive campaign, which will end in 7 days, and get your JD Club. And it's the Holiday 2018 JD Club t-shirt, now available on bonfire.com. I will leave everybody a link in the comment section, pinned at the very top with the link, so you guys can go get it, man. I would love if we blow this shit out of the water again, man. I don't expect to do another 75, but if we could get that to 100, that would be fantastic, man. We're looking right now at 85. We got 85 shirts sold for this bonfire campaign. If we could get another 15 over the next 7 days, man, I would be ecstatic. So let's do it, man. Join the JD Club. Bonfire.com link is down in the comments below, pinned at the very top. Barbershop Window, the official home of the real merchandise here of Off the Script. 18 designs in total, and you guys can get this bad boy right there, man. The 100,000 subscriber t-shirt, now available exclusively on Barbershop Window. We're about to hit 103,000 subscribers, man. It was just on Halloween that we just hit 100,000, pretty much a month and a half ago. We just hit 100,000. We are already at 103,000 subscribers, man. This is why I refuse to change. People want a real voice in this community. People want somebody with a fucking brain and logic, someone who's not going to bullshit. And I've been using this term a lot lately, man. Someone who's not going to follow the fucking leader. You know, I am the leader. We are the leader here on YouTube, man. Everybody else that does what we do, they are way behind us. Not even close. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Get your t-shirts, man. Code BSHOP10 for 10% off. 18 designs in total. And when I say they're the best design t-shirts in the podcast game, they are. Go get yours today. Harry's, man. Got to shout out Harry's because they are the #1 deal here, as far as sponsors go, right here on Off the Script. Harrys.com/script. You guys have an offer here that is unbelievable. You guys are going to get a free trial shave set by using our unique link. It is unique to our show only, for Off the Script listeners only. If you're stopping by here for the first time and you want to get something for free, you might not even like what I do, go ahead. Go ahead. Get it. It's worth your time. And Harrys.com/script. You guys actually have a choice of 3 colors. You can physically choose what color you want. You want the navy blue, you want the orange, or the evergreen. You guys can choose what color handle you want. You're going to get one razor blade that was designed by 600 different engineers, chemists that are employed with Harry's, man, in their manufacturing factories. You guys are going to get grade A solid steel, perfectly designed for your face. And when I say it's perfectly designed for your face, man, I have been using this for a year now. And I have never once cut my face, and I have very sensitive skin. I've never cut my face at all on using a Harry's product or a Harry's razor blade. Never. So if you guys want to experience this for yourself, you're going to get the handle, the blade. You're going to get the foaming shave gel, a 2-ounce bottle of the foaming shave gel, which soothes, hydrates, and it smells fantastic, man. And you guys are going to get a travel protective case for your blade as well. All that for free. All you have to do is pay the shipping and handling. Harrys.com/script. Go get your free trial today. Also, Harry's is giving you guys $5 off the holiday gift set, man. There's 2 versions of the holiday gift set. It's $25 and $35. You guys can save $5 off any one of those offers as well by using our unique link, harrys.com/script. And as always, man, follow me on social media. It's always a fun deal when you're following me on Twitter, at JD206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. You guys know the deal with that already. And if the notification on YouTube is not working, that's why I push Twitter all the time, man, because Twitter is the #1 notification for you if you're following what I do on this channel, because everything I post goes right to Twitter immediately. So follow me on Twitter, man, as a backup. And if you don't have a Twitter account, make one. It takes seconds. And you get to follow me and get to hear my live thoughts on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the pay-per-views, with TLC being this Sunday, man. If you guys want to follow me on Patreon as well, patreon.com jd from NY206. I think after I'm done here, I am going to film my first beer vlog. I got something chilled already in the freezer. Should be good, man. It's a very festive beer, but it's mixed with one of my favorite things in the world, coffee. So I can't wait to talk about that, man. So that'll be for Patreons only. If you guys want to support the podcast, patreon.com/JD from NY206. At the end of this podcast, actually, I might edit it to put it in the middle of the show, just as a little break. But I am back with House of Glory. Oh my God. House of Glory. I'm a fucking goon. You can tell I've been recording all day because I did a 1 hour and 20-minute premiere that I'm going to be uploading sometime in the next couple of days for Black Ops 4 because they just downloaded a new DLC. And I did my WWE 2K19 TLC event for my universe mode, so I'm shot. I'm trying to get as much done as I can before the weekend. But I am back with House of Glory doing Cutting Corners. And our first guest in Season 2 was Violet, the beautiful and lovely Violet, who is one of the prominent female superstars in House of Glory for their women's roster. And I conducted that same day an interview with the Royal Masons, Alex and Charles Mason, man. Two of my favorite guys in House of Glory, man. They are great at what they do. They are two guys who work very well with one another. And they are going to be the next big tag team in House of Glory, man. I see big things for them. And I see them making a lot more money, as if they really need it. But a lot more money for themselves with House of Glory in 2019, man. They are eyeing LAX and those House of Glory Tag Team Championships. LAX right now is on a monumental run as far as House of Glory Tag Team titles go. And LAX is actually defending the titles tomorrow night in Queens. House of Glory presents the 8-year anniversary show. They are going up against the Amazing Red and Anthony... Oh, no, not Anthony Gangone. I think it's Smiley. Anthony Gangone's fighting Shane Strickland. I still have to get the card down. But it's the Amazing Red and Smiley of the House of Gangone going up against LAX. Man, that's going to be a treat, man, to see the Amazing Red go up against LAX. It's going to be pretty damn good shit on Saturday night, man. So if you are in Queens, you guys can go get your tickets, HOGWrestling.net. I'll be there. Solid Monster will be there. It's going to be a good time. So come on out. I'll be doing my commentary deal. You guys know what's up with that. But Cutting Corners, man, the Masons was the second one that I did for Season 2. If I can get my hands on some footage, I'll integrate it into the podcast here. And it's something that I really want you guys to go check out. So if it's live on their YouTube channel, I'll link you guys in the annotation with the rest of the stuff that you might have missed during the week on the channel. So make sure you guys go and check that out. But I will be with House of Glory on Saturday night. So come and check us out in Queens at the NYC Arena. Speaking of Cutting Corners, man, today, as you guys are watching this, I am getting ready physically. I am getting ready for this evening. I am doing episode 3 of Cutting Corners, and I will be interviewing Impact Wrestling superstar. Yes, Impact Wrestling superstar Jordynne Grace, who was just signed to Impact Wrestling in November. I'm pretty sure she's going to be eyeing Tessa Blanchard and that Impact Women's Championship. Should be a big deal, man. You know, Thick Mama Pump. She was at the All In show. She was in the Battle Royal. She had that great spot with Brian Cage. I think she eliminated Brian Cage in that Battle Royal, man. So that's definitely one of the questions I'm going to be asking her. How she felt about All In, how she felt following that weekend, what her thoughts on the independent scene are following All In, what was going through her head when she was in the ring with Brian Cage. That was a big stare-down moment, man. That was a big moment in that Battle Royal. So that's one of the many questions I will be asking her. So that's going to be definitely exciting and interesting to take part in. And if you guys want to get some questions in for Thick Mama Pump, Jordynne Grace, I will be looking at the comment section throughout the evening. So if you guys want to get some questions in and leave some questions in the comments, I might pick and choose some of them and I might use them on top of what I already have written for her on the interview Friday night. So let me know what you guys thinking about that. Big stuff coming up, man. Big stuff coming up, and it's going to continue on into 2019. And I thank you guys for putting me in the position that I am in. I love each and every one of you, man. Without you, this show would not be where it is today, and I wouldn't be doing what I have dreamt of doing all my life, man. And it's thanks to you guys. So thank you all so very much. Big things coming up. Let's get on with the news, man. Let's talk about this Actually, before we even get into the WrestleMania stuff, I want to continue to talk about this Monday Night Raw just briefly. Now, we went over the ratings. And the disaster that was Monday Night Raw. But Bryan Alvarez, the reason why I love Bryan Alvarez so much is because he emits the same emotion that everybody's feeling. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. You can listen to Wrestling Observer Live and listen to when he asks, Dave Meltzer something and he gets it kicked back to him. He is just in sync with what's going on. He knows what's good. He knows what's bad. He knows what's wrong. He knows what's right. He goes on Twitter on Monday and uttered the same thing that I was even thinking. And a lot of people were thinking. He went on Twitter and said, "This is embarrassing," during Monday Night Raw. This prompted Jimmy Jacobs. Remember Jimmy Jacobs, who was fired for taking a picture with the Bullet Club when they invaded Monday Night Raw last year? Yeah, Jimmy Jacobs. He was a writer for the WWE, and he responded defending the WWE in a big way. Now, this response by Jimmy Jacobs means absolutely nothing to me. Nothing. If you are writing a Raw program and it's at its current state right now, that means you're not really doing your job. So the excuse that you come to me with is invalid. Okay? Maybe WWE should think about taking away an hour on Monday Night Raw and putting it back at 2 hours. They're going to make their money anyway. The more people watch the show, they'll be inclined to sign up for the network. You'll make ends meet. He says, and I quote, "Writing a 3-hour wrestling program every single week is fucking hard." End quote. So, the zombie princess, as he calls himself on Twitter, says it could be very hard. We should feel for the WWE writers. He wants us all to understand how hard it is. See, that's where they are wrong. I don't give a shit how hard it is. You're the professional, aren't you? We're the fans. You know how many times you tell us to stay in our lane because we don't understand? I don't give a fuck about it being difficult to write 3 hours. You're the professional. You're the writer. You're the one with the pen in the hand. Go on social media. Get ideas. Get ideas from message boards. Talk to the fans. Understand where the fans are coming from. They don't. And I understand that many of these voices go unheard because of Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's the root of the issue. Vince McMahon is the root of the issue. If you guys seen him during the press conference when they announced the XFL teams, I made mention of this last week. He looked like a fucking dead man. He looked like the Walking Dead. Could barely speak, raspy voice, and this is the guy that's writing your program every Monday night. Steps in the right direction, right? Yeah, sure. There won't be steps in the right direction until Vince McMahon is gone. Gone, I say. Health update on Big Cass following his seizure at the House of Hardcore show. We went over this on Sunday's episode of Off the Script. It wasn't something that I planned to do Sunday night, but there was enough news to compile into an hour podcast, and I said, fuck it, let's record. Big Cass was the big story there. Big update on Big Cass. He was at the House of Hardcore show, and I believe it was during intermission, and he was maybe greeting fans and meeting with fans and trying to sell merchandise at his booth, and all of a sudden he collapsed, and he went into convulsions. Now, there were garbage people there who, instead of going to get help or helping the situation by getting him water or towels or whatever, asking if they could do anything, you got garbage people standing back, taking their cell phones, filming Big Cass as he's on the fucking ground. You know, they're scrambling to hit record on their phone instead of scrambling to get this guy something in what looked like to be a very scary situation. Garbage fucking people. I hope you're happy with your 5 minutes of fucking fame, you idiot. And I'm glad that you have pictures of Big Cass and videos of Big Cass having a fucking seizure on your phone. Garbage fucking people. So, he suffered the seizure at a recent House of Hardcore event. Scary. Since then, we've all been worried about Big Cass. Tommy Dreamer recently tweeted out that he was able to get an update on Big Cass because he has spoken to him. According to Dreamer, Big Cass is doing well. Big Cass is fine, he says. So there were reports that Dreamer and Billy Ray remained by Big Cass' side when he was tended to by the EMTs. Big Cass was eventually able to get up, thank everyone for their concern, but he was still taken to the hospital for obvious tests. Hopefully everything is okay with Big Cass and he's able to take care of himself. There were reports, I believe, now you could see online, and I mentioned this last Sunday, pictures of Big Cass looking completely out of shape, man. He looked terrible. He put on a lot of weight, and it's granted that it's going to happen because he was fired from his dream job. He worked so hard in NXT to get promoted to the main roster, had a debilitating injury, never seemed to find his footing. There were rumors that he disobeyed Vince McMahon in that segment on SmackDown Live during his feud with Daniel Bryan, where he, I guess, tried to do too much with the Daniel Bryan small person or the little person that was imitating Daniel Bryan. He wanted to do more and beat him up more to garner more heel heat. He went to Vince McMahon and asked if he could do more. Vince McMahon said no, and then he went out there and did what he wanted anyway. So he had a lot of heat under him, supposedly. And then WWE put him in a match with Daniel Bryan. He lost the feud and eventually got fired. Now, we don't know what else led to that termination. There were other reports where Big Cass was very upset about Carmella dumping him and seeing Carmella in the back talk to other guys. I believe Vic Joseph was one of them. You know, Vic Joseph was getting too close to Carmella after the breakup, and Big Cass took issue with this. So Big Cass was creating a lot of headaches, reportedly. I don't know if any of that's true. It's all speculation at this point. But they let him go. He was in the WWE. He was dumped by Carmella. And he is now wrestling in front of 200, 300 people on the indies. And he's got to start all over again after working so hard to get where he was on Raw with Enzo in what was probably the most popular tag team when they were promoted. They had something special in Enzo and Cass. But they never really went all the way with them. I honestly, no matter how many people hate Enzo or dislike Enzo for his actions and his fucking childish ways, they were a good tag team. They looked great together. They gelled together. It was a simple babyface tag team. You got the crazy little guy, you got the big guy. That makes for a good tag team, man. Get the hot tag to the big guy, win the match. They were very over. They had a huge catchphrase. People loved when they came out. Enzo was great on the microphone, no matter what you thought of him. They had everything, and then they broke them up for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. Still to this day, I don't know why. But he had to start over, and he put on some weight. And I'm assuming all of this wrapped into one big Christmas box is the reason why. And by the looks of him, you could tell he was depressed. I don't have any pictures, but you could see that he was very depressed. You're going to put on weight. You're going to eat. Sometimes people, you know, they go into depression and do different things. Some people don't eat. Some people eat to escape the pain. Some people don't eat. I'm one of the people that doesn't eat. You know, I sit home and I sulk and I sit on my couch and I cover myself in my little comfort zone, cover myself under all my blankets, and I don't eat shit. I don't eat shit. So, I'm glad Big Cass is doing okay. I heard Big Cass is going to start doing DDP yoga, and if there's anybody in the wrestling industry that's looked upon and trusted to get better, it's DDP. So I'm hoping that he goes and follows these steps to do DDP yoga. I really do. Because I think all of us now, after the situation, want to see Big Cass healthy, number one, and get back on his feet. And give me a reason to care again. Once upon a time, we cared about what Big Cass was doing. And he was portrayed terribly in WWE. Terribly. They should have never broke them up. It's WWE's creative fault for all this. So I want to see him get healthy, and I want to see him get back to where we know he could be. So hopefully all that happens. Andrade Cien Almas, unhappy with his current position on SmackDown Live. You don't say! I've been calling for Almas. Where's Almas? Where's Almas? Where's Almas? Where's Vega? Where's Almas? Where's Almas? Mr. Dog. D-O-double-G. Bro, listen to me. You might have a cozy position as SmackDown head writer, but I truly don't think you know what you have in Andrade Cien Almas. Oh, but JD, he doesn't speak English, man. Okay. That's why you put him with Zelina Vega, who could fucking talk and sell the gimmick. What do you need me to tell you? He don't need to fucking speak. You stand there, you look good, you look intimidating, and you win fucking championships. That's why they were put together. The storyline is easy to follow. Almas was losing. Almas was a pretty boy, playboy, partying every night. He'd rather get laid and drink with pretty women till wee hours of the morning instead of win matches. And when he did lose a match, he didn't care. He went in there, he performed, but when he lost, he didn't care. In comes Zelina Vega, and then all of a sudden we get Almas transformed from Mr. Strippergram popping out of wedding cakes at your girlfriend's fucking wedding party and pretending like he's starring with Kevin Nash in Magic Mike to this serious 5-star match machine, Andrade Cien Almas. And we all fell in love with him. This is what we needed to see, finally. And all it took was one piece. One piece in Zelina Vega. Did a fantastic job. They were a must-see main event act on NXT. He lost the title to Aleister Black, got promoted to SmackDown Live. Here I am, thinking back to all the great matches that this guy had. Brought Drew McIntyre to his best match down in NXT. Johnny Gargano, I mean, every fucking match that they had was a goddamn fucking classic, dating back to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn in 2017. That match that opened the show, fan-fucking-tastic. A lot of people don't reference that match. That was one of my best matches in 2017. In fact, 2 of the best matches in WWE came from that show. Almas and Gargano, and Ember Moon versus Asuka. And then they went on to fight again, and, you know, it was just Johnny not being able to beat Almas. And then it all culminated with that title match in Philadelphia, and then Johnny wanted one more time, and then if Johnny lost, he would put his career on the line to beat Almas for the title. It was fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then that's when we started the Tommaso Ciampa Johnny Gargano situation that we see on NXT currently. But you got Almas, you bring him up to the main roster, and I'm like, yeah, man, we're going to see Bryan versus Almas, we're going to see Bryan versus Styles, Bryan versus Almas versus, Bryan versus anybody, really, but Almas versus Bryan, Orton, Styles, Joe, Nakamura, Hardy, Mysterio, blah, 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 blah. You guys get the point. The guy was not used. He was used in jobber matches. Then they took him off TV for about a month and a half. Then they brought him back. He was feuding with Rusev and Lana. Zelina Vega was feuding with Lana. Almas was feuding with Rusev. And nothing really materialized from that pre-show. Mixed tag team match meant nothing. That was the start of the Mixed Match Challenge. This was the best they came up with Almas. Mixed matches with Zelina Vega and Lana and Rusev. Then they started using Almas, and I'm like, okay, we're seeing Almas in a little bit more of a prominent role. There were reports at that same time that Vince McMahon is very high on Almas. He's going to be in line for a big push. There was even a report, which I never believed anyway, that Almas was in line to possibly win the Royal Rumble. All bullshit. So we started to see Almas versus Styles and Almas versus Bryan, and it was after those matches that, wow, look at this guy. This guy can actually wrestle. Really now. Like, I watched Almas from his lowest of low in NXT all the way to when they repackaged him slightly with Zelina Vega, having that great match with Johnny Gargano. Oh, Almas can wrestle? Look at this. What? Go back to January and watch that one match. How you have this guy on your roster and now you're realizing that, oh, he can wrestle? You're not watching NXT? I mean, the people who do social media put this match at the top of their list for best matches of the year. And the people on the main roster don't know what's going on. I mean, doesn't Michael Hayes work for SmackDown Live and NXT? The fuck's going on? The guy's a creative mouth backstage. Why isn't Almas on television? I am sick and tired of talent like this being wasted away. Almas should be in line for a championship sooner rather than later. Now, Bryan has the WWE Championship on lockdown. That's fine. But there's no reason why Almas can't be a United States champion and bring some legitimacy to that title, which Nakamura has done nothing. Nakamura, all he's done with the United States title is come up with a cool catchphrase. The United States of Naka America. Or Knock America. Whatever the fuck he's saying. Knock America. Really? Really? Almas is a prize piece that any promotion on this planet would die to have. And you're risking this guy's unhappiness for whatever your creative agenda is? Really now? Why was this guy brought to the main roster if you weren't going to use him? We see the same cast of characters every single week. We don't even really see Nakamura, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, match after match after match after match. Samoa Joe's not being used. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, Rusev. We got the Bar, we got the New Day, we got the Usos. Blah, 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 blah. All the same shit. And then we got the Becky Charlotte situation. You mean to tell me you can't fit Almas into plans on SmackDown Live? I wish they would send him back down to NXT when they come up with solid plans for him. WWE continues their global domination. They, as everybody else, needs talent, or wants. Now, WWE wants talent. They don't need it. The other companies around the globe, they might need talent or a big name, but they want as many talented performers as they can get. At this point, one Latin American superstar might be so big that he simply doesn't need the WWE, or at least he's had a good enough warning not to trust them. Now, Rush, I don't know who this is. Apparently he's a superstar in Mexico. Rush has picked up titles all over Mexico and entertained millions of fans. Thanks to streaming services and the internet, Rush has also become one of the most popular Latin American indie wrestlers on the planet. WWE is obviously interested in having a guy like Rush come in. I don't know who the hell this is, but Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, one of Rush's best friends is currently with WWE and he is not happy at all. We heard this same situation when Almas was in NXT and Alberto Del Rio was in WWE. They were close. And Del Rio said that Almas is not happy with what's going on right now. And he's going to leave it up to him. Listen, I'm going to support you in whatever you do. If you want to leave, then walk. Meltzer says, and I quote, WWE? Oh yeah, of course. WWE would be interested in signing him. I mean, you can never say never, but one of his best friends is in WWE and he's completely not happy. So I don't think he's in a rush to be unhappy. You know he doesn't need to be. But I mean, if they offered him enough money, he might actually do it. You watch that guy, it's like he's commanding a lot of money because I know all the indie promotions here that want to use him, he's out of their price range. I don't know what MLW is paying him. I haven't asked. But I know what he's been offered and turned down here, and you know he ain't hurting for money because he'd be getting tons of US dates at a really good rate if he wanted to work the US more, and he clearly doesn't want to. So there is your answer. End quote. Rush could be a big deal wherever he ends up. After all, announcing appearances for Ring of Honor and MLW made headlines. At this rate, he might be best to stay away from WWE because he doesn't want to end up like his best friend Andrade Cien Almas. In case you're wondering, it didn't take too long to figure out Meltzer is likely talking about Andrade Cien Almas. Under a mask as La Sombra, Almas and Rush took part in many battles that sold plenty of tickets during their run together. The two have also faced each other, and you could see anything that they've done, I'm sure, on YouTube. Now, Rush probably knows other people in WWE, but possibly none as well as Andrade Almas. There is also rumors that in the past I mentioned that he's been unhappy, and this recent report only seems to confirm that. I mentioned the deal with Alberto Del Rio when he was in NXT. That's when he was not really having the type of reaction that he expected. He came out as Mr. fucking Strippergram, popping out of fucking wedding cakes. That's when he was pretty much dead. Crowd didn't give him any reaction. He was great in the ring, but he had no character. He had nothing to gravitate towards as a fan. But it's hard to imagine that Almas would be unhappy making towns with Zelina Vega. I mean, I would be happy doing anything with Zelina Vega. But if you watch enough of Vega's social media, you're likely to eventually catch a glimpse of an unhappy-looking Andrade. As for Rush, it seems like the 30-year-old can pick and choose his dates at his own discretion, which is a very good position for him to be in. No excuse. No excuse that WWE is not using Andrade Cien Almas. And the fucking idiots who want to say, oh, well, it's a change in the right direction. This is something that they were uttering on Monday Night Raw. And I ask again, where? Change in the right direction is getting a guy like Almas on television in a prominent role. I don't understand why this guy's not being used. Why you deviate so much from what NXT is doing. You have, when NXT has a talent, they're gift wrapping you fucking made talent. They're giving you the answers to the fucking test. How do we use him? Use him how he was used in NXT. He got over with Vega. He got over on his own through his wrestling ability. You mix both of them together, Vega and his in-ring ability, and you got a winning fucking pair. But I guess wrestling doesn't matter on the main roster. At some point, it eventually will. I want to see them go about this lack of using talent when October 2019 comes around on Fox Sports. What a disgrace. That is absolutely disgusting that Andrade Cien Almas is not being used on SmackDown Live. Does anybody have an Almas counter? When was the last time we seen him on SmackDown Live? I can't even remember. Moving on here, man. New details on Kevin Owens and his return from injury to the WWE. Kevin, man, does Monday Night Raw miss Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn? Kevin Owens was put out of action due to taking so much punishment on his knees. This is why he needed a double knee surgery, which is never fun to recuperate from. Owens has been enjoying his time off from WWE, even though he got really mad at Elton John recently in the process and challenged him to a WrestleMania match. Continuing to work his magic on Twitter, I see, is Mr. Owens, but I can't see because he fucking blocked me for absolutely no reason. He's working on recovering, and hopefully he'll be back and ready to go with some big plans WWE hopefully has for him. While it's not certain exactly what WWE could be planning for KO's return, I could give you a glimpse as to what they got planned for Kevin Owens and his return. Nothing! They got nothing planned for Kevin Owens. Dave Meltzer discussed the former Universal Champion and his current injury status on Wrestling Observer Radio, where he revealed that it still might be a bit of time before we hear Kevin Owens' music strike the PA on Raw once again. Kevin Owens is due late February, early March, but they may hold him off until after WrestleMania, which is probably the decision that I would make. Because he's not going to factor into anything that late in March. You're already building towards WrestleMania, and I'm sure you already got shit penciled in, which we're going to talk about in a second, for a lot of the guys and women at WrestleMania. So Kevin Owens is probably going to make a bigger impact on the Raw after WrestleMania instead of on the road to WrestleMania. That's something I would definitely go about doing. If WWE is certain that Owens will be back in time for WrestleMania, they very well could book him in a match on their biggest show of the year. They need to be very certain of this, seeing how much their WrestleMania card has needed to change so much already. Either way, Kevin Owens might be a huge surprise on Raw or SmackDown following WrestleMania. And if they put him on the card for WrestleMania, they could give him a highlighted position for a comeback on WWE television. The only thing that Kevin Owens is going to do on Monday Night Raw is be in the Battle Royal for the WrestleMania Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. That's not what you really want to see at all. So I would save someone like Kevin Owens, who is a major player. I wouldn't say he's a game changer on Monday Night Raw, but my God, compared to what they're doing now, he may very well be a game changer. He is, right now, one of the best talents that they have on Monday Night Raw and on SmackDown Live, on both brands. He needs to be in a prominent role coming back. And I can't wait for Sami Zayn to come back. In fact, I would pair Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn up together, and I would have them go after the tag team championships. I would really do that. You know, there's nowhere in the record books or the rule books where it says that if you pair two guys who are primarily singles wrestlers in their WWE career as a tag team, they are best friends in real life, so why the fuck not? There's nowhere where it says, well, if they're a tag team, they can't wrestle on their own. They could have a tag team championship run. We could see matches with them and the Revival. We could see matches with them and AOP. Whatever. You know? I think that would be great. You got to use your strengths. You could have Kevin Owens in the main event against a single guy. You could have Sami Zayn in the main event against a single guy wherever it's necessary. But I honestly think them coming back as a duo would be something that I would pop for. And you got to use them where it's necessary. Where is the most help needed right now? What is the most necessary for WWE to fix? You know, you look at the tag team division and the women's division on Monday Night Raw. Garbage. Completely garbage. The tag team division has been an eyesore for months. And I feel like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the tag team division would be a fucking great deal. I honestly do. So that's what I would do with Kevin Owens, but I would not put him on the road to WrestleMania. I would save him and Sami Zayn for after WrestleMania to make a bigger impact, because that impact is not going to be half as big if it's on the road to WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania, man, let's get into this plethora of WWE news that I have concerning WrestleMania. WWE is reportedly talking to Conor McGregor and Daniel Cormier for WrestleMania roles. Now, obviously, Conor McGregor has been linked to Becky Lynch, but where would Daniel Cormier fit in at WrestleMania? Now, Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey are destined to wrestle eventually, and to all the people, I have to make mention of this again, to all the people who think Becky Lynch's run is dying, what the fuck are you watching? Oh, she didn't get much of a reaction in Las Vegas. Well, Las Vegas seemed like they had too many Jack and Cokes on Tuesday night. Either that or they lost too much money before heading to the fucking T-Mobile Arena. Las Vegas was fucking garbage. They didn't give Charlotte and Asuka any fucking reaction. You worry about Becky Lynch? Becky Lynch Royal Rumble VIP access sold out in 90 seconds. Let me see Becky Lynch and the detractors come towards Becky Lynch. Oh, she's dying off. The run is dying. The mystique is dying. Really, you know, I'm a very analytical person. You're going to go on social media and look at Becky Lynch's tweets. I don't see any other female on WWE's roster accumulating the social media reactions that Becky Lynch is getting. When Becky Lynch tweets, 20, 25,000 likes, bunch of retweets. When you got anybody else, Nia Jax, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair tweeting out, you get your rudimentary 5,000, 6,000 likes. But Becky Lynch is blowing their numbers away by 5 times. But Becky Lynch is dying to the fucking clowns on the YouTube scene in the wrestling community. Bunch of fucking imbeciles. I guess you guys really aren't numbers driven like I am. Open your fucking eyes. Now, the Barn Burners No Holds Barred podcast is talking about WWE planning something even more special to ensure that Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch will be the biggest match on the upcoming Mania card. Now, they are destined to wrestle eventually. It's going to happen. Whether it's a triple threat match or a one-on-one match, Becky and Ronda will lock up. Lynch wouldn't have it any other way. I got actual excerpts from the Ariel Helwani interview that he did with Becky Lynch. Great interview. We'll talk about that tomorrow when we talk about the triple threat match, the TLC match that will more than likely main event TLC between Becky, Asuka, and Charlotte. But Barn Burners Fired Up podcast is talking about WWE apparently negotiating with 2 of the biggest names in the UFC to help out Rousey and Lynch at WrestleMania. Joe of Barn Burners says, and I quote, "The rumor going around, they're trying to sign Conor McGregor not to fight at WrestleMania, but how about this? How about Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey? In Becky Lynch's corner will be Conor McGregor, and in Ronda Rousey's corner, it will be Daniel Cormier." That's what he says, and he's reporting, is WWE's plan right now. Now, this match, if it's going to happen this way and materialize the way he described, it could be pretty epic if WWE pulls it off. It would also cost them a huge sum of money, but WWE, I'm sure, has enough of that right now with all the money that they're making from the Saudi government and then Fox giving them $1 billion for SmackDown Live. It's going to be interesting to see how they build for this program, but it might make everything that much more epic and unpredictable going into WrestleMania, man. I like that. The likelihood of that happening is probably 0, but I do like that. The one thing I do have an interest in here, and listen, this will, I mean, WrestleMania, you know, that's when everybody comes out, right? All the superstars, all the Hollywood stars that come out for WrestleMania. It's the big night of the year in the pro wrestling world. It's the big event that everybody goes to, right? Once in a lifetime experience. That's when you see everybody from wrestling to movies to stage, sports personalities, you know, Hollywood, whatever. It's all at WrestleMania, right? That's what WrestleMania has always been about. Vince McMahon has never deviated from that. If he is as invested in this program as the fans are invested in this program, then he would go to any lengths to make this happen, talk to Dana White, and make this happen. Does it make the match that much more special? Yes. Does it make it legitimately the main event? Yes. Do they need Conor McGregor and Daniel Cormier? No, they don't. Because the way that this has been built up already, it's writing itself, and it's already epic in its own right. And the only way that it will get to being a spotlight match and a main event match on its own is if WWE follows the steps in order to make this happen. Becky loses on Sunday. Asuka's the new champion. Or Charlotte's the new champion. Whoever's the new champion, Becky is no longer the champion. Becky enters the Royal Rumble. Becky and Nia have a showdown in the Royal Rumble. You want to save it for the end, or you want to save it for the middle? It could be that. You know? It could come down to Becky and Nia. It could come down to Becky and Charlotte. And just play off what's going on between those two. Even furthermore in the Royal Rumble. But in the end, Becky Lynch is going to win the Royal Rumble. And Becky's going to go on to WrestleMania. Now, how do you get Charlotte in the triple threat match? She could win the Elimination Chamber. She could say, I don't want Asuka or whoever the champion is. I want in. Or I mentioned WWE could do the 1994 Royal Rumble ending where Becky and Charlotte are the final two in the Royal Rumble and they both eliminate themselves and there's dual winners and we get a triple threat match and both of them want to challenge Ronda Rousey. Because I can't see WWE doing Ronda versus Charlotte at the Royal Rumble. It makes no sense. There's a huge logic gap in there in the form of, well, they're on different brands. How are we going to get them in there? So WWE has a few things to go, but I don't want Charlotte in the main event of WrestleMania because she doesn't need it. And she doesn't deserve it. But WWE is so hell-bent, and they will do anything to get Charlotte in the WrestleMania main event. Becky is a unfortunate happenstance for WWE. So WWE has no choice but to push Becky Lynch. They deviated away from their plans for so long, and I don't think they're going to deviate and bend on putting Charlotte in something else. They're going to put her in the WrestleMania main event. But does Becky need Conor? Does Ronda need Daniel? No, they don't. So if this match is going to happen one-on-one, it should be spotlighted on them only because they've done so much work to get people invested in this already. Coming out of the Survivor Series match that never happened, people want to see this match even more so now because it didn't happen when it was scheduled to happen. And everybody's calling it for it to be at WrestleMania. Everybody. Does McGregor and Cormier make it a WrestleMania moment? Yes, because that's what we expect from WrestleMania. Do Ronda and Becky need it? No. I would rather the spotlight be on them. That's just my honest opinion. I want it to be a WrestleMania moment for Becky. I don't want Becky to share the moment with anybody else. At this point, she's done so much to a point where she deserves it. They did it for Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. Now we're doing and talking about it 5 years later with Becky Lynch. It's not the same thing, but it's the same situation. The fans have rallied so much behind Becky Lynch that WWE owes it to the fans and needs to give the fans what they are asking for. Simple. I don't want to hear about anything else. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Sunday at TLC. We will further this discussion there. But Becky needs to be in the main event of WrestleMania with Ronda. No questions asked. Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio's return has been lackluster. He is going one-on-one with Randy Orton in a chairs match at TLC. Rey Mysterio is reportedly scheduled for a WrestleMania title match. Rey Mysterio's WWE return was met with a lot of excitement. as they did their best to educate new fans on why they should be happy to see Mysterio back in WWE. With WrestleMania 4 months away, it seems like WWE has a pretty good idea about what kind of match they want to book Mysterio in for the big event. Now, Barn Burners, No Holds Bar podcast. This is where I got the majority of the news today. They've been talking about WrestleMania all week. Giancarlo on Barn Burners, No Holds Bar podcast said that WWE is pretty set on a U.S. title match at WrestleMania for Rey Mysterio. The only question is who he will be facing. Now, Giancarlo says, and I quote, "I spoke to a few sources as well, and right now, Mysterio is being penciled in for a United States title match, but they're still working on who is going to go into WrestleMania with the title. 3 names being discussed: Shinsuke Nakamura, holding it till then to face Mysterio. Samoa Joe is another one, or Andrade Cien Almas." Can you imagine Andrade Cien Almas and Rey Mysterio on WrestleMania night for the United States Championship, being given 20 minutes to tear the house down? I mean, just a glimpse of what we got on SmackDown Live a couple of weeks ago. I don't know, when was that, in October? A month ago? I would love to see that on the grand stage. Yes, it is 2 Mexicans fighting for the United States title, but, I don't give a shit at this point. I just want the title to mean something. The United States title needs to be battled over 2 fucking guys who know how to wrestle. Almas and Mysterio, take my fucking money. That is an undercard match for the ages for United States title. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. Now, he goes on to say, and I quote, "I'm hearing that 2 of the 3 names of whoever doesn't walk into WrestleMania with the United States title, they will be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, so there's going to be plenty of star power in that match." End quote. I'm going with Almas. In fact, I'm having Mysterio win the title from Shinsuke Nakamura somewhere in between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, and then I'm going to have Almas come out and challenge Mysterio for the United States Championship, and them get into a feud, and Almas win the title at WrestleMania from Rey Mysterio. That's what I'm going to do. Because Nakamura is a heel. You're going to need a babyface to take the title off of Nakamura. Rey Mysterio is the only other babyface outside of Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles. So that's what I would do. Mysterio takes the title off Nakamura at the Royal Rumble. We get Rey Mysterio going into WrestleMania with the United States Championship, and then rises Almas to take the title off of Mysterio at WrestleMania. Then Joe, sadly, will probably go into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Nakamura, sadly, if he's still with the company, in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And that's that. So we're looking at Almas potentially versus Mysterio at WrestleMania for the United States Championship. It will be interesting to see what WWE goes with. It seems like WWE's working out some finer details, but it looks like they're ready to possibly give Rey Mysterio his first title run in the WWE since his return. But it seems like no matter who they pick out of those 3, it could result in a pretty epic match. I'd even take Samoa Joe. But Samoa Joe has gotten so many chances that I would like the dynamic better. And Joe got chance after chance after chance, and WWE seems to do nothing with him. I would rather they take the opportunity and build Almas up for this match. Because him not being factored into WrestleMania is just downright disgusting. Now, it could result in a pretty epic match, no matter who they go with, but Almas is the one that's going to result in the most epic. You should never count out the possibility of WWE booking a few multi-person matches for their biggest show of the year, especially for the United States Championship, and that could be one of those matches. In case they don't want to go with a one-on-one match, they could go with all 4. One-on-one is the way to go. I would love if WWE just cuts down the multi-man matches at WrestleMania, because that's another issue in its own right. All because it's WrestleMania, you don't need to book everybody on the show because it's WrestleMania. You don't. If you've done nothing all year, there's no reason for you to be factored into a championship match or a match at WrestleMania. Maybe next year. That's my take on that. Moving on here, man. Big WrestleMania match. Penciled in. It's written in. It's written in pencil. But it's written in for Shawn Michaels. HBK. Shawn Michaels is a WWE Hall of Famer. And his recent return to the ring at Crown Jewel was met with mixed emotion. Of course, he is not the man he was against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. He's not even the man he was in 1997, but he is still the showstopper in a lot of ways to a lot of different people. Mr. WrestleMania, they call him, might have some plans to wrestle once again, as Joe of Barn Burners No Holds Barred podcast states. If WWE is able to pull off this match, it could be something incredibly special. Who is it, might you ask? Is it The Undertaker? Nope. Is it AJ Styles? Nope. Is it anybody in NXT? Johnny Gargano? Nope. But it is something that a lot of people have wanted for a lot of different reasons for many, many years. Also looked to be penciled in for WrestleMania, he says, could be Shawn Michaels versus Daniel Bryan, student against teacher for WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan was trained by Shawn Michaels, and WWE could be giving us that match in 2019. It will be very interesting to see if WWE will book this match, especially if Bryan is still the WWE champion when Mania rolls around. HBK's return at Crown Jewel was said to be a one-off appearance, but I don't think it is. I've been told otherwise. I was told that Shawn Michaels is in line for guys like Bryan, the tag team match with Kane and The Undertaker, a one-on-one match with The Undertaker, Styles. I even heard that he was scheduled to wrestle Johnny Gargano. Could all happen. Could all happen in the next 4 or 5 months if WWE wants it, if Shawn Michaels wants it. But the only real question is whether WWE and Shawn Michaels can come to an agreement to put enough green in his pocket and get him prepared for such a huge match that would be worth it to everyone involved. Not only both Bryan and Michaels, but the fans as well. Because Shawn Michaels is 50, how old is he? 52? 50-something years old? And what we've seen of Shawn Michaels, yes, compared to Triple H and The Undertaker and Kane, out of all those guys, he was the one who was most ready to go. And looked like he missed a few steps, but not so much at Crown Jewel. Do I want to see Shawn Michaels and his bald, hairless head, bandana wearing only Shawn Michaels come to WrestleMania, wrestling Daniel Bryan in what many people will want to think is going to be a 5-star match, but in actuality, it's Shawn Michaels trying his best to keep up with the much younger Daniel Bryan in a subpar match. The one fear that I have here is Shawn Michaels going into this and not being Shawn Michaels. Going in there and embarrassing himself against Daniel Bryan. But I'm going to reserve that for another day. I'm not going to be negative when it comes to this. Shawn Michaels is one of my favorite of all time with The Undertaker. Having him in a match with Daniel Bryan, I just can't see them having a bad match. I can't. You know, Michaels will bring everything to the table. You know he will be prepared for that match. Bryan, you know, this is something that I think Daniel Bryan has wanted for many, many years. And there's no better opponent for Shawn Michaels to be in the ring with than Daniel Bryan. And actuality, if you want a storyline purpose, it makes sense. Daniel Bryan is the fucking angry, villainous vegan. Right? The way he's just gone on and on and on about shitting on the fans and how Mustafa Ali came out on SmackDown Live asking, who are you? I don't remember who you are. I don't remember this Daniel Bryan. This is somebody that we looked up to. Where's the old Daniel Bryan? WWE could easily slide Shawn Michaels into this entire thing. Daniel Bryan just goes off the chain. When Daniel Bryan was on SmackDown Live, I forgot to mention this on the review, when he attacked Ali on the entrance ramp and held his hands up in the air like this, he was just grabbing the title, looking at his hands. He reminded me of like an evil Bob Backlund. Remember when Bob Backlund won the WWE Championship from Bret Hart? And he was looking at his hands. He didn't believe what happened, right? At the Survivor Series 1994, he had him in the chicken wing for like 12 minutes. He won the title. Owen threw in the towel because he convinced Martha to throw in the towel. She did. And Bob Backlund won the championship. He couldn't believe what happened. Daniel Bryan reminded me of a little bit of Bob Backlund. And what better individual to come and snap some sense into Daniel Bryan than Shawn Michaels, the guy who trained him, the guy who molded him, mentored him. I mean, it sells itself. Now, the only thing that we got to be concerned with is what happens with the WWE Championship. if this is being rumored for WrestleMania, is Daniel Bryan still the WWE champion? Is the WWE championship going to be on the line in a match against Shawn Michaels? Or is Daniel Bryan still going to be the champion, and the championship will be represented at WrestleMania, but it won't be on the line at WrestleMania? Instead, it'll be a grudge match. See, that's the part I don't know, and that's the part I don't like. Is Daniel Bryan going to lose the title back to AJ Styles? Could very well be. Could very well be. AJ Styles could go into WrestleMania as the WWE champion just for a little bit and lose it to who his opponent is rumored to be. Barn Burners, No Holds Barred Podcast, also stating that AJ Styles is going to go one-on-one with Randy Orton at WrestleMania, and that is currently penciled in for WrestleMania. That could be a very interesting contest that we haven't had the chance to see on the big stage. They gave us about 8 minutes on SmackDown Live many, many months ago. And that match under the spotlight of WrestleMania for the WWE Championship, to get the title back on a heel in Randy Orton, you know, Daniel Bryan could maintain this heel character and they could do the match, the showcase match with Shawn Michaels, but the title is on Bryan right now. They're going to need to take that title off of Bryan if they want to do the Shawn Michaels match. Put it back on AJ. Bryan is feuding with AJ right now. AJ is going to get his revenge on Daniel Bryan. He's going to get the title back, whether it's at TLC or the Royal Rumble. AJ is going to go into the Chamber. He's going to go into WrestleMania as the champion, and Randy Orton's going to emerge as the WWE champion coming out of WrestleMania. That's what I see happening there. Because AJ wanted to give up the championship because he was burnt out. He didn't want to be champion anymore. He was literally burned out, and he wants to talk about having a reduced schedule. They could give him the championship for a little bit. He doesn't need to make live appearances. He could be on SmackDown Live and have the Randy Orton schedule. And then just get him as the champion to WrestleMania and have Randy Orton beat AJ Styles in a big-time match and give Randy Orton that big WrestleMania moment for the WWE Championship. Randy Orton's been the only guy that's been booked correctly on SmackDown Live. You know, as far as a heel goes, he's been the only one consistently booked to be a heel. And he's been portrayed the right way consistently, week in and week out. They've not deviated from Randy Orton. He's not been in anything embarrassing. He's not been in anything cheesy or cringe. Randy Orton comes off as a villainous dick. And I don't think anybody sitting here listening to me would not be interested in a Randy Orton versus AJ Styles match. It fits into what he wants to do. He wants to break your idols. He wants to expose your idols. He did it with Jeff Hardy. He's going to do it with Rey Mysterio. And he's going to do it with AJ Styles. It fits into that mold as well. But all I know is if Bryan and Michaels are scheduled for WrestleMania or penciled in for WrestleMania, the title has nothing to do with that. It's going to be more so on Bryan's attitude and Shawn Michaels coming in to try and rectify that. We'll see what happens, man, but I have no issues with any of that right now. So if you're asking me, Mysterio versus Owens for the United States Championship, AJ Styles versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship, Daniel Bryan versus Shawn Michaels in a student versus teacher match, on top of what we have heard already being rumored for the show, Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch, or Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte for the Women's Championship, Charlotte versus Asuka, or Asuka versus somebody else for the Women's Championship on SmackDown Live, whether or not, depending on if Charlotte is in the Raw Women's Championship match, or if WWE really wants to get, crazy, have that be a unification match at WrestleMania between Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda. Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, rumored, right, for WrestleMania. We could be looking at a damn good fucking WrestleMania. But again, that all hinders on if the story is there for me to care enough about everything that's going on. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's good to think about. It's good to imagine. It looks good on paper. But the execution is where WWE almost always fails. It's going to be a very interesting road to WrestleMania. Going to be a very interesting road to WrestleMania.
Speaking of the New York Wrecking Crew, I failed to mention, and I wanted to mention this earlier. How are you feeling following the last event with the table spot from Mr. Bully Ray? I think you mentioned something about taking him to court or suing him or
Absolutely. You can bet that I've been trying to take this man to court. My legal team, our legal team, has been up all day, all night, trying to find a way to sue this man. The problem is, after a lengthy career, he has nothing. There's nothing to take from the man. So
The Hall of Famer?
The Hall of Famer. He's blown it all. Just like most peasants in this world, they get some money, they blow it. I don't know what he's blown it on. Probably cheap alcohol and women.
Cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburger. You can see by his weight. Okay, he's even been desperate enough to have to do a local talk show. All right, this man has nothing.
Well, that's what I do.
But you also have nothing. See what you have in common?
Yeah. But moving away from that, I'm sure Bully Ray will hear this eventually.
I hope he does.
But speaking of the New York Wrecking Crew, you have also an issue, I believe you mentioned on Instagram with Chris Seaton that you're going to break his other leg and that you're going to take a picture of that broken leg and frame it in your gallery.
Absolutely.
You know, what is the issue with Chris Seaton and Smooth Blackman? How do you feel about management actually having you guys go through the Wrecking Crew to get the House of Glory Tag Team Championships that you think you deserve?
Well, it's extremely fallacious. It's very egregious to have us even be anywhere near these filthy pieces of trash to begin with. Listen, in a business like this, you have to be suitable enough and stable enough to, quote, carry the stigma that is of a championship belt. They didn't happen to fit that narrative because, of course, they were weak. And that's what Matthew Ryan Shapiro recognized in the fact that they were weak. They were poor. And, of course, they were just unworthy of even bearing those titles to begin with. So, our personal problem with the New York Wrecking Crew stems from them having to now get involved in our business. Our business was never with the New York Wrecking Crew. At the time, they just so happened to have been champions, and the rest is history. And my brother broke Chris Seaton's leg. Is that a crime against humanity? Absolutely not. He got what was coming. So now, he had recovered. His leg is all fine. He's able to walk again. And what do? The minute they have any sort of recovery time or a window of opportunity to stick their nose in our business, they do so. And which derailed our opportunity in capitalizing against LAX, which we were that close in doing. So now this has become a personal issue, and we've also considered taking legal action. But as my brother said, what is there to take if they make nothing?
Speaking of LAX, how do you guys feel about LAX's historic House of Glory Tag Team title reign? And what brought you guys to crash their parade a couple of months back? How'd that come to be?
I can tell you.
Despicable act, by the way.
I can tell you that those two gentlemen have been coddled. They've been babied by House of Glory management because they represent everything that Mr. Brian Baez ever wanted to be. They're two successful Hispanic men. All right, give them that. They have had success in this business, but they haven't gone up against real competition. They haven't gone up against the Masons. How could you
sit here in front of me and say that?
Because they haven't gone up against us one-on-one. And we are the only competition in this industry.
I got two more wrestling stories for you guys to conclude this week's Off the Script for Friday, part 1 of episode 252. But if you're looking for wrestling stories, legitimately, Audible is the... I got two more stories here on Off the Script before we get out of here, man. But if you're looking for wrestling stories, look no further than audibletrial.com/offthescript, man. You guys, if you go to audibletrial.com/offthescript, unique URL for our listeners only here on the podcast, you guys are going to get 30 days free of their service and one free audiobook of your choice. It is simple, man. Use the link. Go through the sign-up process. And you have 30 days free of Audible for absolutely nothing. And they're going to give you a free audiobook on the house just for signing up, man. Over 200,000 choices to choose from. A lot of those are wrestling related, as you see there, man. That is just the tip of the iceberg. Shawn Michaels, Wrestling for My Life. Jim Ross, My Life in Wrestling. Chris Jericho, How I Failed Spelling but Succeeded in Life. Yes, by Daniel Bryan. Brock Lesnar, Death Clutch. The Death of WCW, The Stone Cold Truth by Steve Austin. Second Nature by Ric Flair and Charlotte. And Justin Roberts' Best Seat in the House. Stories that I'm sure you're interested in hearing from a ring announcer's perspective about what goes on behind the scenes in WWE as far as creative goes and their mindset for the business, man. All that plus so much more on Audible. And the best thing about it is, if you guys sign up and you feel like Audible is not for you, you can cancel within the 30 days and keep your audiobook no matter what, man. Compatible with iPhone and Android devices. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Moving on, man. Triple H was injured. He was injured at Crown Jewel, tore his pec, obviously got surgery immediately. Everybody's wondering if Triple H is going to be at WrestleMania. Barn Burners, No Holds Barred podcast, has stated, as far as Triple H goes, after his surgery, Triple H is still expected to wrestle in a pretty big match at WrestleMania. Of course, he will need to heal up in time, but that could very well be possible if he uses his Superman strength that apparently he has the ability to do. Just like John Cena. Remember when John Cena tore his pec? 9 months, gone. And he came back in 3. Won the Royal Rumble in 2000, 2005? 8? Whatever. He says, and I quote, "I have talked to a couple of sources, of course. This could change, but penciled in. Everybody wants to know what's going on with Triple H. Is Triple H going to face Batista? As everyone knows, he suffered from a torn pec. Triple H is the cerebral assassin, but he's also Superman. There is also a match still penciled in with Triple H and Batista if Triple H can come back." End quote. Sounds like Triple H is going to play WrestleMania by ear. If he can, he will be there. It will be interesting to see what WWE books if their COO isn't ready in time for WrestleMania. After all, Batista is still big and could draw a lot of eyes to the show. I know it was rumored that if it wasn't Triple H, then they want to do Randy Orton, but I just told you Randy Orton's penciled in for AJ Styles. So I'm assuming Triple H is going to be on the road to recovery and will be at WrestleMania, if that's what they have penciled in for WrestleMania. There was a report also that Vince McMahon doesn't see Batista as that big of a superstar as he once did. I think that is a bullshit rumor. I think that's just pettiness on behalf of WWE because Batista went on to have a successful career in Hollywood without WWE. Simple as that. He became bigger in Hollywood than he was ever in WWE. And they don't like that. They want for you to lean on them whenever they can. And when you go out and do whatever you got to do to make a living for yourself, and it doesn't include them, they get all salty. So I don't believe that for a second. Vince McMahon knows the kind of pull Batista has in Hollywood now and the movies that he starred in that made multi-billion dollars. Batista is in a situation where he doesn't need WWE. Batista is the type of guy who's coming to you wanting to work for you because he loves the business. I don't know how, Mel. I don't know how you can't respect that and why you wouldn't utilize this guy's services when he willingly wants to give them to you. Fuck that report. Vince may be a fucking cretin, but I don't think Vince is that fucking stupid. I think Batista is that big of a superstar, bigger now than he ever was, and Vince knows that. So I don't believe that report whatsoever, which I believe was by the Wrestling Observer. But listen, man, I'm interested in a Triple H Batista match because after what we've seen on SmackDown 1000, they had a great feel. And Batista, he made that snide remark, Triple H did everything, but the one thing he didn't do in his career is beat me. Takes the glasses off. That's a WrestleMania moment right there, man. You knew that they were planting the seeds for that almost immediately. So I'm down with that, as long as it's the last match for both, because we don't need to see Triple H tearing any more fucking muscles in a ring. At 50 years old, he needs to concentrate on NXT and his position in the company, moving up the ranks, hopefully taking over when Vince is no longer there. And Batista, they got history with one another. And it's a closing of the chapter. We never got the closure when Batista walked out. After Evolution was brought back together to battle the Shield, Batista just walked out. They need to continue that. There was never any conclusion to that storyline. So there you go. If Triple H can get back, I'm all for it, as long as it's the last match for both of them. But Batista actually went on record and says, I want to give you at least another year full. He wants to do the house show circuit. He wants to do the house show tours. He wants to give you everything. So we'll see what happens, man. Maybe Batista after WrestleMania can stick around and have a huge role on SmackDown Live going into October of 2019. We're going to get out of here, man. One more story. We talked about this on Sunday's episode of Off the Script last week, episode 251, and how WWE had original plans for The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, to win the Royal Rumble. More on the original plans for The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Just a follow-up. Just a follow-up where, people were getting their sources mixed up and their information mixed up. Dave Meltzer commented on the message board saying that he's never heard that The Rock was booked for the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. This contradicted previous reports from WrestleVotes, the Twitter account WrestleVotes. Now, WrestleVotes had a report stating that those plans have obviously changed now due to the fact that Roman Reigns is not on television. But The Rock could be brought in for the Royal Rumble to win it and go against Lesnar at WrestleMania. Now, we vehemently said no to that here on this podcast. We don't want that, nor is it needed. That is disgusting. You're not going to use the Royal Rumble to facilitate a retired wrestler's title run for the sake of bringing eyes on the product when he's ultimately just going to disappear. So, cutting to the point, now, Ringside News founder Steve asked WrestleVotes if he would comment on Meltzer's report. The reply that he received was double down on WrestleVotes' previous report while pointing out the differences in sources, and the sources have access to various pieces of information. Seems like Dave Meltzer is refuting my tweet about The Rock and the Rumble, says WrestleVotes. That's fair, but in wrestling, plans change all the time. To say a trusted source didn't give me this information is dumb. As everyone can tell, my sources are usually pretty good, so I believe them still. So, Twitter user Ryan in the Hot Tub. I don't know who he's in the hot tub with, but I hope he has a cold beverage with him. Also tweeted in response to WrestleVotes with some additional insight saying, I quote, "It wasn't just you as well. Heard it from a few very good people, and all the betting odds were heavily in favor of this too. I'm still hoping we get a Rock match at WrestleMania," end quote. We might never know the real answer unless The Rock speaks out about this himself. After all, there is a ton of ideas in the WWE's, disposal right now. Or if you want to even say that, they got no fucking ideas depending on what you're watching on TV. Vince McMahon may want this to happen, and he's waiting for confirmation from The Rock, and then he will facilitate it from there. It would still be pretty interesting to see Rock show up at WrestleMania, but for me, not in a title match, not winning the Royal Rumble. If you want to do Rock versus Brock in a spotlight match like you're doing Michaels and Bryan, I am 100% okay with it. No Rumble, no title. No one wants to see that. And if you do, you're a fucking idiot. I'm getting out of here. I'm done. I got a headache. My voice is shot. My mouth is dry. I need a cold beverage. And you guys have had a 1.5 hour podcast, as always, right here on Off the Script, Friday, with truth, logic, smart wrestling talk, and my view on everything. There you go. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Part 2, we're going to be doing the TLC preview and predictions, and that might be it for the podcast until TLC. So you only might get part 2 right here on the weekend for TLC, man. I don't want to double dip on Sunday because I don't want to upload something early and then do the TLC predictions, or the TLC review, rather. I would rather just rest, get my mind right, get myself ready for TLC. It's going to be a long night. So we're going to talk about everything TLC on Saturday with preview and predictions, and then Sunday with the review right here on the channel. Thank you guys so very much, man. If you enjoyed up until this point, motherfucker, hit that thumbs up. I don't want to see anything less than 2,000 likes. I don't want to see anything but 2,000 likes, man. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. 2,000 is the goal. Make sure you guys go and get your Team JD Club t-shirts, man. JD Club Holiday 2018 t-shirt. Black, gunmetal, blue, pink, and red. Available now on bonfire.com. Link will be down in the comment section, pinned at the very top. Social media, man. JD from NY206 on Twitter. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Harrys.com/script. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. And remember, 5 times in a single calendar year, the worst ratings in the history of the show. Thank you guys so very much, man. I'll see you guys on Saturday with the preview and predictions of TLC. I'll talk to you guys later.